With the utmost care, the Pakistani guy pulls a mysterious red powder from the pit. With practiced ease, he sprinkles the powder into the nearby pool. And so begins a magical transformation. After removing the red dross, a stunning sight appears. The pool now holds a silvery white liquid. That's right, it's precious molten aluminum. You might not believe it, but to get this seemingly ordinary, yet incredibly valuable liquid, it takes a whopping 10,000 plus cans. Here's our Pakistani brother, dragging a bag of cans to the furnace. With a casual toss, the furnace erupts in billowing black smoke. The scene? Like a black beast roaring. In this environment, you've got to hold your breath and move fast. Otherwise, breathing this air for too long could seriously mess you up. Losing a few years isn't an exaggeration. The raw materials for this smelting shop, they are quite diverse. Besides the usual cans, there are bottle caps too. Don't underestimate those caps. They are aluminum too. And even more surprising, the trash we casually toss away in our daily lives can actually be melted into aluminum in this magical process. Though, you can't use too much of that trash. Just a little bit. You know? Because it makes too much dross. So, the main stuff. Gotta rely on those cans. In just a few minutes, the furnace starts spewing thick smoke. This smoke, like playful little spirits, pouring out of the furnace. Where does it come from? The paint and plastic on the cans, burning in the high heat. Imagine working in this smoky haze. Working in this blazing inferno. You gotta hand it to the Pakistani dude. Barely 2 minutes in, the entire smelting shop's engulfed in smoke and fiery light. Flames roar from the furnace's depths, like a wild beast breaking free, lighting up the whole place. Soon enough, the cans in the middle melt under the heat. But the ones on the side, that's where our guy's gotta get hands on. He grabs his hoe, gives it a mighty swing, and bam! Fills up the hole in a few hits. The smoke that just cleared a bit, it surges back up, thick and fast, like it's playing hide and seek with him. The furnace is crazy hot now. Anything goes in there. He tosses it all in. And if it's being stubborn? 2 more whacks with the hoe. That big pile of stuff looks like a lot. But there ain't much good stuff in there. He's showing off his skills now. Like a warrior taking on a dragon. A few more rounds, and those cans are dwindling fast. The furnace is roaring, full blast. Time ticking away. A solid 81 minutes of cooking. And finally, most of the cans are melted. He grabs a tool, gives it a good stir. Like a seasoned chef whipping up a gourmet meal after his little dance. It's pretty much done. But he ain't taking a break yet. He's gotta tidy up the place. Safety first, you know? Gotta sweep the floor clean. Don't wanna trip over anything. That'd be a disaster. He ain't playing around. A few sweeps with a broom. And he scoops out a big ladle of red powder. Tosses it aside. That red stuff's all impurities. The real molten aluminum's underneath. Those red bits. Unmelted junk. Once that's cleared, now we can finally see that pure, silvery white liquid. He scoops up a ladleful, cleans up the surrounding liquid a bit, and pours it into the molds. He carefully fills each cylindrical mold. His movements skilled and focused. The aluminum cools down fast away from the furnace, so he's got to hustle. From liquid to solid, it's just a matter of seconds. Once they've cooled down a bit, They are ready to come out of the molds. He shakes the mold, gives it a few taps, and a couple of hammer blows, and all the aluminum chunks drop right out. Gotta be careful collecting these. They are still pretty hot. He uses a stick to fish them out, then tongs to move them to a big basin. The environment in his workshop? Let's just say it's something else. Piled high with materials and tools. Looks like a chaotic junkyard. Good thing it ain't a jewelry workshop. This metal ain't gonna break if you toss it around. No strict rules here. Next up, these aluminum rods go to the next workshop. There's a machine that looks kinda like an extruder. Let's see how they work it. First, they heat the rods in a furnace. Don't need to melt them. Just get them to around 500 degrees. Aluminum melts at 660, remember? This furnace is pretty efficient. They're out in no time. Heated rods go onto a tray, and the extruder operator feeds them into the machine. Under the machine's pressure, the rods are gone in seconds. You gotta be quick with this machine. It's like a stamping press. One slip, and you're looking at an injury. The machine squeezes those rods into wires, finger thick. The spool starts turning, pulling the aluminum wire forward. In no time, a coil of aluminum wire is ready. At the end of his shift, he grabs 2 coils. A look of pure joy on his face. Of course, this thick wire is just a semi-finished product. It needs to go to the next workshop for stretching. To make it thinner, if you need it even thinner, just stretch it a few more times. Like what I saw in a cable factory. Their raw material was thumb-sized copper wire. And then, they stretched it step by step to the size they needed. This connector he's using is pretty efficient. Works like a welding machine. Alright, that's the end of the video. Please leave a comment and share. Let's witness together how this Pakistani dude turns discarded cans into aluminum wire. The process, and how they show their ingenuity and hard work in such a simple environment.